Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. I, of course, am your miniaturized version host, Charlie. I'm sitting in the smallest chair in the room. And, of course, I am joined once again by the prolific commoner himself, Zealeus.
Yo, what is up, Mr. Short?
Mr. Short.
Did you swallow the rest of that?
And the lovely Jules. Okay, let's get this. I brought Jules in simply so that we could cover a subject that does not seem to be going away. So we're just going to cover it. What the hell?
Boobs.
Boobs. They
Puppies.
just don't go away. They're always there.
Go memory glands! Woo!
Not just say go memory gland.
Yeah, he did, and it's recorded. Okay, so let's get right down to it. It's called GamersGate. Basically, it's a bunch of douchebag people that who have decided to attack any females that show a differing of opinion from them. The latest victim, of course, is Felicia Day. She has been keeping quite silent the entire time, but decided that her silence was probably doing more harm than good, so she finally came out, and wouldn't you know it, the douchebags doxied her almost immediately, and now all of her personal information, email, home address, phone numbers, have been outed. So, let's start with Jules. About
Go for it!
I'm like I don't even know where to start with this. Okay, so there, I understand that the gaming landscape is changing.
Yeah.
There is, because of more a wider area of, or wider devices. Oh my God, I can't talk.
Mm-hmm.
Because of a wider variety of devices, like cell phones and tablets and online, like Facebook and
so
all
more
that stuff.
accessibility.
Right, accessibility. Because of the wider variety of accessibility, you're seeing. Okay, I'm just gonna keep using my buzzwords. Okay, you're seeing that a larger audience is. Oh, stop doing it! You're freaking me out now. Oh, I can't.
I just keep looking at the camera and you look like an envelope. Okay,
So you have a lot more people playing games.
Yeah.
There has been talk of people trying to retire the word gamer simply because it's now gotten this evil connotation of it's a bunch of dudes who basically live in their parents' basement or hardcore gamers and think that anybody who doesn't do what they do is retarded and should die.
Well, but they also say that women who wear short skirts are sluts. So just because the word, you can make a word negative pretty easily. Now, if people who are quote unquote gamers want to change that, culture has to follow, and they have to make some proactive steps to do it. And I'm not saying that gamers are people that sit in a basement like this one and play video games, but
it's not his mom's basement.
and wouldn't shower, if their wife didn't tell them they had to.
Well, I would not use the shower down here, though.
It's clean, okay? Jesus, people. Okay, but here's the thing. Okay, the vast majority, about, I would say, like, I'm just going to give you a ballpark estimate, like 85% of individuals who play video games out there have no problem with this movement of having a more diversified sampling of gamers, be it women, gay, lesbian, transsexuals, whatever. I mean, they're
black, white,
white,
green.
whatever. Yeah, whatever. The vast majority of us don't care, but the problem is you have these people who have decided to. God, I do not want to use this term. They're trying to, like, cleanse their version of what gaming should be. So anyone who goes against the norm, any woman who goes against the norm, God forbid, is getting attacked. One of the greatest examples of, of it just being women. There's an individual. He was a Minnesota Viking.
I read about him many a times.
I believe he was a kicker.
He was a punter.
Yes, punter. His name is Chris Cluey. He was outed as homosexual, and he believes that that's why he was terminated from the Minnesota Vikings. But it's a different story for a different.
No, he's not actually homosexual, but he strongly advocates and supports gay rights.
Okay, my bad. I'm sorry, Chris.
Well, it makes a big difference because you have the whole Dan with Michael Sam as the first actually openly gay.
Openly gay.
Yeah.
Right, but the thing is, from what I heard was that he was whatever. Anyways, that's not the point. But basically, he's basically, I mean, he is tearing into these individuals who are going after the women. And I use some of the colorful language in my Facebook post today. That I don't even know where he came up with some of these terms, but they are phenomenal. But it shows, it's like they're going for, I guess, the most that doesn't sound right, but most different, the farthest from their ideal or idea of a gamer, and that apparently is women, especially women who have a voice, who want to see some kind of video game reform where women are not just slutty hoe bags that get beat over the head by baseball bats or have ginormous boobs.
What
And
games are you playing?
that's basically the entire Grand Theft Auto series.
Getting hit over the head with baseball bats? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can
Okay.
you can beat a hooker to the ground
With a baseball bat.
with a baseball bat. Yeah.
But you can also beat a baseball player into the ground with a baseball bat. It's equal opportunity
It'd be more
beating.
convenient, I would
Yeah.
guess.
But anyways, but so there's quite a few there's part of this whole thing. Yes, they're going after the women, which is very cowardly. There are a lot of people against, we're against what these people are trying to do. There's Chris Cluey. There's a ton of other people out there, but they're only going after the women. I hate to even talk about it because we're giving them more publicity, but at the same time, it's got to stop, right? I mean, this phenomenon usually, kicks up dust for, a week or two and then fizzles, but for some reason, they keep finding a new target to put their rage in. I mean,
well, which I respect the fact that these people are coming forward and putting themselves in this position that they're being taken advantage of by these individuals. But if they didn't, and Felicia Day said it in her post, was just that, I kept my mouth shut for so long, but I can't be the person that I am in the position that I'm in with the culture of video gaming and with her kind of being the female face, and not say something. And I think that, Zealeus and I were talking earlier actually about the culture of representation of women in all media right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's across the board. It's not just video games. Although video games take it to an accelerated level of, the gravity-defying boobs that you just don't understand how they're up there running around like that because it's not realistic at all. And they, it's like Zealeus was saying that, basically the farther you get into a certain game, the less clothes the women are wearing. And I'm just kind of really? But
You go from a full cloth tunic to the plate.
Just the place. And I don't.
it gives her better protection.
On the
To
memory
one
plate.
area of her body. I mean, but you watch television right now too, and we watch a lot of kids TV, and even on those, I feel like the women are a little bit more. They're wearing heavy makeup. They have to be perfectly petite, and everything's got to be perfectly proportioned or less than perfectly proportioned, in my opinion. Super skinny, and they wear, unless they're pregnant, they're wearing, scantily very tight dresses and things. And I, I'm not one that doesn't like to dress up, and I wear makeup and all of that, but I just feel like culture has got to change in general if anything's going to actually happen. And so, I think it's very much backwards for these individuals, but to come forward and to victimize women in this way, especially people that are threatening to what they think their culture should be. Mm-hmm. But they're also just threatened by these people. They're threatened by women. That's why they're doing this. And if they're not, and I think there are two sides to this, and the fact that there are a lot of voices coming up that are just, even in politics, that are just like completely slamming games, and it causes kids to be violent, and it causes all of these terrible terrorist acts of all these young people shooting people and all of that, and right now I think the culture is changing a little bit with that because we've had so many terrorist attacks that have nothing to do with video games, or that they always seem to have played a video game where they're into this, but I think they're just focusing on that one thing because they can pick it out. I don't think it may have anything to do with why they did it. It's just something they can say, oh, well, he played Grand Theft Auto every day, or he played
Call of Duty.
Yeah. So I think, overall, there are two sides to it. There are the people that are really coming out and slamming everything about video games. And then there are those within the gaming community the women and others who support covering women up and making them more proportional to reality and things like that are coming out and being very forceful with their message. So of course you're going to have these people on the other side doing the exact opposite. Now taking it so far as to expose personal, private information of these people who are speaking out, even if they're speaking out in a reasonable voice.
Or death threats.
Correct.
I want to call it.
Ridiculous.
I can't remember her name off the top of my head, and I totally apologize. But she is the individual who created the web series Tropes vs. Women in Video Games. She was supposed to give a lecture at a university in Utah. She received a death threat that basically said it's going to be a massacre if you actually show up on campus. She asked for further protection, but under state law, any individual who has a permit is allowed to carry a concealed weapon within a government building or a state building.
Yay, gun laws.
And so she felt uncomfortable, and so she canceled. This is not the first time that she's actually had her life threatened, and to be honest with you, she's also had her parents threatened, going, we know where your mom and dad are, and if you try to run to them, we'll get you there. I mean, come on.
Well, there's so much more information that's out there that we don't know or don't realize, and so, I mean, I would totally believe it, and I respect her for changing her mind and taking the safe route, because I'm not supporting anybody who's making death threats or revealing personal information. I'm just saying there are two sides to this, and I believe, I hate, so this guy right here, when he plays video games, typically he plays as a redheaded female.
I do.
And I completely dig that about him until I come down and I see some of the outfits that these women are wearing.
It's not my fault.
Maybe he's trying to tell you something. Where are these, Barbie, honey?
Yeah, it's kind of like the I think I've gotten into, and I hate to say it, but I like them, the BuzzFeed videos.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you didn't like BuzzFeed for a while.
I don't.
Are you okay with it?
BuzzFeed gets a lot of credit for stuff that isn't theirs. That's all I have to say. And that infuriates me because they basically pick and choose stuff off of everyone's website and they try to brand it as their own. They have some cute, original comedy videos. Yeah. That I'll watch, but the random list of
their videos.
The top 25 cutest animal, blah, 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 blah. They
it's totally ripped, yeah.
Well, no, they take a list of they take 2.5 lists of people's top 10 cutest animal pictures, and they just and they change the order up and go, ha, it's ours.
And people love it, and they eat it up. They totally eat it up.
I've never been to BuzzFeed. I don't know.
Oh my God. No, so they go to YouTube when you have just some time and look up. My favorite is when they eat foods from different countries or they drink alcohol from different countries, and they just kind of these people. They go into this taste testing room, and they're hilarious anyway. And the stuff they talk about, it's great. Now I lost my train of thought. What?
Matzo ball soup is the gateway drug to being Jewish.
Yeah,
that was one of them.
That's what you were talking about?
Jewish food. That was one of them. No, but where was I? There was a BuzzFeed video. Oh, about sexy Halloween costumes. And they had the male members try on these female sexy Halloween costumes. And I was laughing my butt off because they're real costumes. And they were like a ladybug, a Girl Scout. And it was like a bikini with a little hat and like the vest, and they had the sexy firefighter with the suspenders, which one guy compared to like it's like half firefighter, half Larry King. I don't really. And they were so ridiculous. They barely covered any skin. There was one that was a sexy nun. You got to see that. I'm telling you, you need to see this. It was.
I feel like I go to hell just
terrible.
looking at it.
Probably most would, but and at the end, the guys were like, "Girls, you don't need to wear things like this. Covering up can be sexy." And I think, and I kind of thought about that when you sent me the article today, because the majority of women represented in video games are very sexified and very bosomy and muscular though too for the most part.
Got a little bit of toning
there. Yeah, and right now, because that is part of the culture, I feel like with the emergence of CrossFit and other things, women's bodies are getting a little bit more athletic looking, and that's more the popular tone than just super skinny, which I like, as long as it's not extreme. But, I kind of look at it like that sexy Halloween costume thing, because that's really what it looks like to me when I come down and I see you playing as this cute redheaded character wearing basically nothing, running around a forest with a large stick, and I'm just like, what is this accomplished? Like, I don't get that, and a lot of people do, and I'm fine, and I won't tell him to stop playing.
I'm trying to figure out what game you're talking about now, because I've played so many games
that were very much women wearing next to nothing, running through forests with sticks.
Nope, most of the women have been completely covered up as of late.
Well, that's nice.
But okay, so but here's my deal. Yes, she was in the right to protect herself, but I don't want. The thing that I fear is that these people are targeting specifically so that these women or individuals can't get their message out by continuously trying to do like blitz attacks to keep them quiet.
No, but the last thing that somebody wants is to show up to something you're supposed to talk about,
Right.
And somebody ends up killing or harming innocent people, whether or not it's that individual who's speaking or the people around a gunman or somebody who puts a bomb. I mean, who knows? These could be completely empty threats, and they're just trying to keep her from talking. And someone will eventually say, I'm not going to be, I'll hire security or whatever. But I guarantee you, if they're doing it in a hotel and there's a death threat, that hotel isn't going to let them do it anyway.
But it's also, I think, easy to take those threats seriously when, in Felicia Day, she talked about how she's had restraining orders taken out against strangers who physically show up to your house.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you've had these people of fame, who try to really hide their identities, the real life identities from the, kind of alternate universe of online reality, and they're still being basically, luckily, I guess, for Felicia Day, it's been pretty benign. And yet she also specifically refers to, some people having the mental illness and finding her.
Yeah.
So you don't quite even know, what's the mental state of these people.
Right.
And, in that, having the death threats, I can totally understand her taking that seriously because you just don't know. If somebody is being serious enough to send out that threat and, and kind of about that post and, my experience, playing online games, not quite to the extent we're seeing with GamersGate, but harassment and online issues like that have been going on since the inception of online games.
Right.
And, it hasn't always been specified tied to women. I remember I played World of Warcraft, this was when I was in college, and there was two gay guys in my clan of like 60 people, and they told me, but they didn't want to come, they didn't say anything to anybody else in the clan. Because they're afraid that basically they'd be kicked out and vilified by everybody else.
Oh, sounds like high school.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah.
And, and what's the first thing? I mean, usually I join pretty online, but, you play, say, Xbox. What's the first kind of slur that you're going to hear out of some 13-year-olds on the Xbox 360? You're a faggot, man.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still very much that mentality, and people don't even think anything of it. So, it's kind of sad that this has been going on for a long time in video games. It's just always kind of ridden under the radar. And now it's kind of coming to a light, and I think it's a discussion that needs to be had because there is that, it's been prevalent in video games, or online reality. A popular website is Reddit. I was telling Julie this earlier, but, the kind of joke, because it's true, is if you're, in a popular subreddit, and you're a female and you happen to post like a cute picture of yourself, the joke is you're going to get a inbox flooded of other males' penises, basically, because they think it's hilarious to sexually harass people.
It's not funny to send pictures of your penis.
No, not at all, obviously.
No.
I mean, I'm kind of making light of it, but that's the
They're
reality.
not attractive in general. So pictures, no.
But this type of harassment of females is unfortunately going on for a long time. And not just females, but any kind of minority.
Any
And
difference?
the sad thing to me is there's, growing up, that was one of the beauties of online video games. It the escape. It didn't matter if you're a male or female, gay,
you could
straight.
be whoever you wanted.
You could be whoever you wanted. And, you could be that online king of everything in World of Warcraft, wherever game you're playing.
Yeah, but you can be an online douchebag.
Very
You don't get to be a douchebag in your real life because your parents shut it down. Now you can be a douchebag online, and they have no control over it.
Absolutely.
So
which is why
you're gonna get the good with the bad, I guess.
That's why a lot of companies have tried to come out and say that they're trying to contain the toxicity in the games, because there are toxic players who want to be there to make asshats. I think the unfortunate thing about GamersGate is, yes, this has been happening. Harassment has been happening for a long time. It's both scary and kind of disturbing that it's actually now escalated to something that's actually physical and outside of the internet world. Yes, do female movie stars receive random gifts at their house that they have no idea how the hell they got there? Yes.
Probably constantly, actually.
And I'm after listening to a couple podcasts for different talks, I could tell you that if you are sending a female actress, well, actually, actress would be female. Well, if you send them something to their home, it's immediately going to go in the trash can. Doesn't matter if it's the coolest thing in the world. They're not going to reinforce your stalker mentality. So just send it to their agent.
Who will then keep it for themselves.
Yeah. Who will then run it through security, get it drug tested, get it
tested for
bomb
anthrax
tested,
and
all that stuff. But anyways,
it's kind of sad the way the culture's changed that way.
Right. I mean, you look at. This is before I was even born, thankfully. So I could tell a story about before my birth. So let's just say before I was born.
Adam and Eve?
No, that's way back. No, my dad was a cross-country runner in high school. The only way he could be a cross-country runner in high school was that he had to find his own ride back home so he could hitchhike. That was okay back then. Now, you are going to end up in a bathtub full of ice and you're going to be missing body parts.
People just won't pick you up because they think you're about as creepy as...
Oh, that too.
This is true, yeah.
The people driving.
But
I
do
won't
wonder...
even pull over for people who are in accidents. I've seen so many people just fly by an accident because they don't care.
But the thing, the funny thing about those type of things is, you look at the historical trend, actually, of, especially in the United States, of, violence and crime, and all of that is definitely on a downward trajectory. And that's the thing. So, the whole, like, hitchhikers, for instance, I really don't buy that there's any greater chance of a hitchhiker getting something done to them now. But it's kind of the same thing with kind of like the online bullying we're seeing. It used to be you kept it to the playground. When back in the day, we were playing Super Mario Brothers on the playground and kids were making fun of us, well, we got home and kids couldn't go on Facebook and, post about how you're, well, kids don't Facebook nowadays. They're all on Snapchat.
I'm so behind.
Oh, they moved to
Kids
Twitter.
don't use Facebook
They used to
anymore?
Twitter about 4 years ago, and now they're on Snapchat.
They're back to Facebook.
Okay.
Believe me, they are there. For the love of God, yes, they're there.
Why are you following teenagers on Facebook?
I am not.
Okay, moving on. So the point is so basically, these things that used to kind of hopefully be left at the schoolyard, I'm seeing it, we see this in schools all the time. All of a sudden, now you get this blend onto the online world after school too. And it's the same thing, these cases like GamersGate. Well, I think we all know, females have been discriminated against for a long, long time. And there's kind of, back in, 70s and 80s, get, all those rights and stuff. Yeah, go rights. But now it's kind of like, but now it's become such a, things that, you could kind of leave, at your front door, now it's entering back into the life. because you enter the digital online world and people can flood your inbox and find out anything they want about you.
Yeah, but it's also all documented. So if something does happen to that individual, or God forbid they commit suicide because of the online bullying, they now have a record they can pull.
But the problem is the vast majority of the people who are causing this kind of damage are doing it through proxy, or they're doing it anonymously. So it's really hard to actually trace it back.
Basically, the police don't have the resources to deal with the problem. And you're right, because they're having cases where, and we are seeing these go to court now, where somebody's basically bullied to commit suicide. And there's a lot of, court cases and legislation going on. But
or the girls that
all that's
their friend, and there was documented information on Facebook about how they were harassing her, and then
the problem is that's all reactive, though. The problem is it's all reactive.
Right. So
none of it's proactive.
Fact,
and it's how do you, before the fact, get to the root cause of what's going on in the first place.
Yeah.
So you don't even get these issues going on.
It's a whole nother complicated set of, I feel like we get through one major crisis and then, another one pops up as soon as even before you're done handling that
Well,
one.
I kind of like, so we had the speaker at the school I work at a couple weeks ago, and it was a talk about basically public, like social media safety.
Mm-hmm.
And, he's talking to the kids and adults about, how do you keep safe in the online world.
Don't go online.
And, well, no,
say that online.
Well, no,
so
basically,
really
his main thing was two things. Is one is basically anything that's online can become public.
Yeah.
You may think it won't, but it can
It
become too. Even like the, people can do through proxies and anonymous, but if they really want to, they can find you. The second thing is, which I never really thought about before, is, you get a car, you turn 16, you get a manual on how do you drive your car so you don't cause an accident. Versus now you have this great big internet with anything you could want in the world, basically, and there's no real guidelines for it. It's just like, poof, here's this great big world of awesomeness, don't screw it up. And there's really no, and I know, in schools we try to educate the kids and, be like, don't do this and don't do that. But at the same time, how many times throughout the day do the kids hear, don't do this, do that? Kind of eventually.
How many times are they ignoring it?
Yeah, it just kind of comes in one ear and out the other.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like this world of the internet, and we're still, as a civilization, trying to figure out how do we deal with this. When you think about the age of the internet and its relative age to other social issues we've dealt with, and it's still in its infancy.
Mm-hmm.
And how do we, wrap our heads around this and be able to interact?
It's not like you can keep your kids from using it because it's a part of school and it's a part of, what they're being taught. It's included. So it's not like you could say, okay, I really don't want my child to sit down at a computer and use one until he's 12.
Oh, believe me, I know parents who've tried.
And I'm sure they have because, we really didn't, I took typing class in the 8th grade. And then, I definitely used the internet in high school and used it again in college. But we didn't have, from what I remember, we had a computer at home, but we didn't have good internet back then. We didn't have good connectivity.
We had one computer with the dial-up modem, and we didn't have the whole call waiting thing. So
you would block the phone when you used the internet.
Whenever people called, and people would call and you get kicked off and trying to explain to your parents, no, don't pick up the phone.
Yeah.
In the middle of defeating the big bad rain boss.
Until college, and I actually signed up for Facebook when it first started. I was one of I think you could look up which number you were, and I was like the 9,000th person to join Facebook or something.
Nice.
And so, I was on it from the very beginning. I kind of watched it grow and change and get frustrated, and then
twist.
This whole most recent list versus most popular thing drives me crazy. Anyway, so I kind of saw how my life has changed and how much more we're willing to share with people, especially having children, because it's when you can't see your friends all the time, or you can't connect with your family.
As soon as you have a kid,
it's all pictures of your kids on Facebook, and
or kittens.
Yeah, correct. Or yes,
anything that you take parenthood over.
Oh. Well, we used to post a lot of pictures of our dogs before Brody was born, but I shouldn't have said his name, shouldn't I?
No, I'm excited.
Okay.
That was Zealeus.
Yeah. It is truly. It is.
It is his alien. That's true.
That's not his real name.
But it does become that, and then sometimes I stress over am I putting up too much? Like, am I putting up too many pictures of him? Are people going to use this against me at some point? And I hate that I have to be scared of that instead of just sharing with my friends and family his growing up and them getting to see cute moments of him playing the guitar and singing, or running around down the hallway giggling or whatever. It's fun to share. And then I see what's the guy that has the kid that you showed me on? Was it Instagram that you showed me on?
Yes.
Yeah.
We won't use names, but
okay.
yes.
So there's this. He's on TV, right?
He was. Yes.
He was. And he has this really cute.
He was on G4.
Kid, and he posts a lot about him.
Well, it's because he travels a lot, so
Yeah,
a lot
so
of the pictures are for him and for everyone else to see that his kid's doing well.
And it's nice to see somebody that's willing to share, especially because he reaches a lot more people than I do, which I'm okay with personally. But it's nice that people can use that as a sharing mechanism with their friends and family, especially for those family or friends that don't live close and don't get the opportunity. And then it saves you money from having to, text it out to everybody and blah, blah, blah. And how safe is that in comparison? There's just so much to worry about. And I do, when my son gets old enough to start using, playing video games or the computer, although
running around with scantily clad women.
I've already.
It was so cute too.
I have his curriculum set forth for gaming. Have no fear. He will be
start
raised.
With non-violent games because he's already.
Oh no, we're not only going non-violent. We're going old school. He will start with an NES. He will then graduate to an SNES. Then in 64. Then the GameCube. Then we'll switch over to the PlayStation 2.
He's gonna
PlayStation,
hate
the Xbox, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360.
you. In fact,
Xbox One.
All of these makes me wonder where you put everything.
You don't want to know.
It's back there.
In the safe.
You know he's gonna sabotage all those, right? He's gonna screw it. I want to play that Xbox 360.
No, peanut butter got in that one. I don't know what happened.
You better not. Those are collector's items.
Just blow it out. Blow out the culture
It
toner.
was really cute. He was holding the controller, and Charlie would do something, and he was thinking that he was doing it, but it was Charlie, and he would go, "Oh no, try again," and it was so cute. And I want him to I like the fact that he's going to get to do that with you, and really that be a bonding thing. But I do want to make sure it's within reason and it's the right thing for him to be seeing and doing.
Or if he sees something that's violent, you say that this is something that's pretend. We don't actually do that. My God, how hard is it for a parent?
You're actually paying attention, whereas the rest of these parents are not.
So what you're saying is at 6 years old, you get him on Grand Theft Auto 4, but you very clearly tell him this is not real. You see how you're hitting the hooker over the head with baseball bats? We don't do that in real life. We pay her in real.
No. Okay, look. When the vast majority of the games that I probably will be playing around my child that will contain violence will be with fantasy and made-up creatures, okay? I'm not going to be beating up an actual human being. I'll be shooting an alien.
Does an elf count as an alien?
Is the elf... What color skin does the elf have?
What difference does skin color make?
Whoa, God, bad.
I'm not touching that.
We were just talking about acceptance.
Why did I get an answer to that question?
Color.
What about magenta?
Sure, yeah.
There we go.
Magenta people, watch out.
No, I'm just saying that for me personally, I want to make it as far from reality as possible. If he's going to have the chance to see that. I love these Twitter is oh, by the way, this dude and this dude just retweeted some random thing that has nothing to do with you, but we want to tell you that instead of you looking at Twitter, they just want to draw you back to
Twitter. That's what they want. It doesn't matter what it is. They just want you to look at it again.
Fantastic.
You've spent too much time not looking at it. Yeah. I didn't. Anyway, let's not get into that. Okay. Did I provide the female perspective you were looking for?
Yes.
Okay.
You rock. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. And this is actually one of our longer recorded shows. As a result.
Good. Oh, really?
Yeah, it's been 40 minutes.
Holy. Oh my God! Now I don't have time to watch Alias.
I'm sorry.
What? Who is that?
I don't know.
Like an Italian mob boss right now?
I'm having a short complex here.
It's kind of fun, isn't it?
Squeeze these short.
Now you know how the rest
You
of
need
us
to
feel
like
around
shorten
you.
your arms though, like tuck them in a
No,
little
I'm
bit.
sorry. Who was the comedian?
Patton Oswalt. You
Probably.
like him a lot.
Yeah, I do.
My parents are going to see Jim Gaff again.
Damn,
I know.
awesome.
They can't
No.
sit together though because they couldn't find seats together, so they have to sit like 3 rows apart.
I'm sure that someone will
probably.
switchy. Maybe they'll switchy. Yeah. Okay, well, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Jules for coming on and chit-chatting with us. Thank you, thank you. So unfortunately, we have reached the end of the recorded section or portion of this video. So we're going to just bid you adieu. So for myself, Charlie, Jules, and Zealeus, thank you for tuning in to the Alter Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. I hope that you learned something, and I hope that you will drop us a comment in the comment section. Good Lord!
Did you just say
Comment section on
show am
YouTube
I on?
or on Alter Confusion. Thank you very much, and we will see you next week.
And remember, kids, keep on gaming in the free world.
Amen to that, brother.